What's up, guys? Welcome back to Bassman TV. Today we're going to talk about fall fishing and how you can improve your skills for catching some bass this fall. Fall is the time to take advantage of the best baits for bass, especially all the trees changing, all the leaves on the bank side. Especially if you have a boat, guys, it's an amazing view to see for fall, and it's one of the best seasons out there. And the plus side advantage of it is that the water isn't as crowded for people jet skiing and recreational use. That gets me really annoyed, and I don't like that type of stuff, and then it just kills the fishing for me, or I just don't like fishing in that type of situation at all. Also, the temperature of the day is the best, especially during fall. You don't have to deal with that super hot sun beating down on you. It's still the beginning of fall. It's not really drastically changing right now, but it will here in a couple days later on into fall. The best thing about fall bass fishing is they're most active. They're getting up in those creeks. They're for the shad. For you guys, for me, it's mostly bluegill. They're going up in the creek channels, hunting those, and they're the most active because they want to munch on those bluegill or shad. So you guys might be wondering, how do I take advantage of this opportunity of fall bass fishing? Well, let me get you started with a couple of baits that are good for me and might be good for you. What tends to work best is soft plastics for me. I don't know if it might be hard baits for you, like crankbaits, just like jerkbaits, little jerkbaits like this, little things like that will be the best for you. For me, it's mostly soft plastics like swimbaits, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is some soft plastics, so let's get right into that. So when I was talking about shad and bluegill going up into the creek channels and back in some of the shallow areas, like pretty shallow, to eat on some bluegill and shad, what they do is they pretty much hunt a whole bait ball full of them and they munch on top of them. A good bait for that in the morning, if you see that type of action on the water and they're busting up on shad or bluegill on top of the water, that's a good time to throw a top water. But mostly the first bait is a swim bait, and there's nothing better that imitates a shad or a bluegill the most is a swim bait. This little dude right here, this specifically would imitate a shad. There's other swim baits out there that are like this, that look like bluegill, that have the stripe patterns on their back. The best thing to do if you want to catch good sized bass and good numbers is you want to try to match the hatch. What I mean by that, I mean what you guys want to do is pretty much try to get, if you can get one little bluegill about the size that's typically in there, or one shad that's typically in there, and you match it up to your bait and it looks exactly the same and the size is the same, you will catch a lot of fish that way by matching the hatch. So that's a good tip for you guys. You're probably asking right now, where do I throw these? Where do I throw swim baits? Well, good question. Where you throw them is typically on flats, or you want to fish this nearly in the middle column of the water or the top column of the water, and try to imitate those balls of shad, balls of bluegill on the surface, and they will think this is one of them. It's injured off from the other group, and it will just eat this thing whole, and you will have a good time out on the water. And now let's get to the next bait. So now we're talking about jerk baits. This is my second favorite. I've been using these a lot lately, and they have been working a ton. And they've been providing some good 2-pound, 1-pound bass. What I've been doing is throwing them on rock walls that have a steep drop off. and that works very well along the rocks. Try to smack at it. The way I caught mine was I just kept on popping it, paused it, popping it, and paused it. And until I got it near the shore, I saw something following it behind, and then I paused it for about a good probably 5 or 10 seconds, and this bass just freaking swipes at the end of the hooks. I set the hook, and then he gets on, and I catch this bass. This was like 3 Sundays ago, and I know it can be overwhelming with how many selection of lures there is. A typical jerkbait that looks like this or these type of things are very good because they have the lip on them is very, very small. Since the lip is very small, you can easily put it in any kind of structure, and you can put it in super shallow water. These probably go to probably a foot, 2 feet down, and well, some of them do, and there's others that go like 5 feet at the max. They're not that deep of baits, but what you want to use if you want to get really deep down in there, if they are already in that stage, is using a crankbait. And now I've covered from the middle column and the bottom water column. I haven't covered the very, very top of the water column. I suggest going out and buying one of these, a frog. This is the best time of the year for the whole entire season to catch those bass on a frog. They will eat this no doubt in the evening or in the morning. It depends if you want to get up early or if you want to get up late, you can get out there and catch one on a frog. And what's new to 2018 for a lure is a sprinkler frog. I've used this. I haven't caught a bass on this, but I really haven't used it that much to catch a bass on it. These would probably get you a lot of success, and you really like these. Okay guys, now I'm in my room. So another bait I like to use also is rattle traps. Rattle traps or lipless crankbaits. You know what? Every fall in October or around November, that's when there is a whole bunch of salmon that come up from the delta and into the Macaulay River, and they come into Lodi Lake. Last year I caught one, and I'm pretty sure I was the only one to catch one out of that lake, and it was about 15 to 20 pounds. It was pretty friggin' big. So guys, that's gonna end it. So thanks for watching Bassman TV. Make sure to comment down below and for what the next video should be. And if you guys, I think in the next video I might do a rod and reel arsenal of what I have and what equipment I have and what type of backpack I have and the rods and reels for the next video. In an upcoming video, I will be going to Seattle and vlogging that, so stay tuned and make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.